and it almost killed me. I literally wanted somebody to take me to the abattoir and shoot me in the head, and then I threw up in the garden. So it was the ED, emergency department, not erectile dysfunction, Christmas party, and I went out. And I went a bit ham. I'm nearly 29. You'd think I would have learnt my lesson, but Gal does not really drink anymore. The other night I had like a Baileys. God, I sound like an old woman. I was like, am I dying? So I would end up drinking to counteract the awkwardness that I felt of dancing, having people look at me. And you might think, well, Dawn, people weren't looking at you. Oh, well, they kind of are, you know? You're like moving your body, and it wasn't like everyone was just standing around. It was like everyone was like, ah! I was kind of confused yesterday because when I tried to go to sleep at night, I started seeing things, and I was like, was I on drugs? I don't remember taking any drugs. Well, yesterday was a bad day indeed. A bad day for me. The Christmas party is the killer of the year, isn't it? And it almost killed me. I literally wanted somebody to take me to the, what are they called? Abattoir, and shoot me in the head. Yesterday, I felt so awful. I even considered, I was like, am I dying? I'm a doctor, and I was like, am I dying? Do I need to go to hospital? You might think I'm being dramatic, but no. It was bad. It was so bad. Right, so let me tell you a little bit about what happened. And today we're going to be talking about hangovers. I thought I'd channel my inner hangover. It's the day after the hangover, so we're on day 2 here. Theoretically, I shouldn't be hungover. Do I still feel like shit? Yeah, great. So I thought I'd look a bit like shit as well. So I haven't brushed my hair. I've still got remnants of makeup. I haven't yet showered. So I'm really channeling the looking like inner shit, outer shit. I don't know what I'm even saying. I feel like I'm not on point today. My throat hurts so much, and we'll get into why. You can probably guess. And we're going to talk about hangovers today. I thought, what a fucking apt episode. And almost everybody, has either had a hangover or maybe even dealing with a hangover right now, or will have a hangover in the future. So this episode's for you, hun. Let's go. So let me tell you a little bit about my Christmas party. So it was the ED, emergency department, not erectile dysfunction, Christmas party. And I love a bloody party. Who doesn't? Well, some people definitely don't. I love a party, right? And I went out, and I went a bit ham. I'm nearly 29. I'm 29 in a week. Literally a week and a day. You'd think I would have learnt my lesson, but Gal does not really drink anymore. I drink, like, sometimes I'll have, like, the other night I had, like, a Baileys. Oh, God, I sound like an old woman. The other night I had a Baileys, with some ice, but yes, the day before yesterday I went ham, and I was like, I'm going all out. Yes, sir. So I was walking around with pints of gin and tonic. Look, I am not glorifying over drinking. In fact, this is the advert not to overdrink. Does it lead to more fun? I don't know. I think the primary reason I overdrank when I was younger was because I didn't feel confident or comfortable. I was trying to say both those words. In my own skin. So I would end up drinking to counteract the awkwardness that I felt of dancing, having people look at me. And you might think, well, Dawn, people weren't looking at you. Oh, well, they kind of are, you know? You're like moving your body, and it's like, well, people are, or at least if they aren't, it feels like they are. So I would always counteract it by drinking loads, and you can tell when people are not very confident, like this is a general rule that I've seen, because they will end up drinking to excess and literally being completely fucking out of it. And I was one of those people, and I also saw a lot of people that were like that. I'm starting to sweat now. I don't yet smell, but it's coming. So yesterday wasn't one of those times though. The day before yesterday. I'm just going to say yesterday because I can't always keep saying the day before yesterday. This party was not one of those times. I felt fine. I felt fucking rocking life. I was like, I'm in my tight dress and I don't care. Like, I was having a good time. I felt a little bit awkward when I first arrived because everyone was like way more drunk than I was, and the party started like, we were like an hour-ish late, and it just felt a little bit like, ooh, walking into this like crazy scene. It wasn't like everyone was just standing around. It was like everyone was like, ah! that as soon as you walked in. So it was kind of overwhelming. So, I got a few drinks in, and then people were just coming around with bottles of Prosecco and like pouring it in your glass. And I was like, okay, fine. So I had gin and tonic and Prosecco in the same glass. I must admit, I would say my hangover is probably exacerbated by the fact that I am on semaglutide. Now, when I first went onto, which is a injectable weight loss medication, when I first went onto it, I was like, no, avoiding drinking completely. No, stay away. Because it can cause, you can get like pancreatitis. I don't know how common it is, but you can get it, and Gal does not want pancreatitis. So I was avoiding it, right? This is why I nearly called the ambulance yesterday. Because I don't know how it causes pancreatitis. I don't know if it's from the reflux or the stomach irritation, or I haven't really looked at it. But alas, I was avoiding it, and I let loose a little bit at the party. I was like, yeah, I want to get drunk. And we went out, and I got home at 4 a.m. 4 p.m. I nearly said. 4 a.m. And it was great. And so there were parts of the night that I don't remember. I'm not proud of it. And I just want to say, usually I'm quite sensible, but if you've listened to my episode where I was a, in inverted commas, professional party animal, I have drunk a lot in my life, and I'm not glorifying that. Alcoholism, I'm not an alcoholic, by the way. Alcoholism is not a good thing, okay? I'm listening to Matthew Perry's memoir at the moment on Spotify. It's on there if you want to go listen. And, he struggled with addiction his whole life. I don't have an addiction. I can go without a drink, but I have drunk a lot, and for the most part I've sorted out my inability to control myself. But clearly last night the night before I went a little bit too ham. Hard as a motherfucker. That's what ham means, by the way. Okay, so anyway, I got home. You don't need to hear all of this. I am not okay. Like, my brain, it ain't working. I got home, and oh my god, I thought I was going to throw up in the taxi home. I remember feeling like, oh my god, it's not going well here. I'm going to throw up. And I think I was just like burping, and I don't remember like exactly what happened. But anyway, I let the dogs out when I got home, because I always do, even though they're used to sleeping through the night without me letting them out at 4 a.m. And then I threw up in the garden. I don't think that's ever happened before. I don't think I've ever thrown up in my garden. So that I reached a whole new low. And the worst part about it is there's not that much food there. And I think some of the issue was I didn't eat that much, because I don't eat that much anymore, because my stomach's like this fucking big, like a little Satsuma size. And so there wasn't much stomach lining there. I must admit I probably didn't eat as much as I should have done. And I had like a few canapes whilst I was there. Did I eat before I went out? I can't remember. Anyway, so I threw up in the garden, and now my dog keeps going around there. And I think she's eating it. I don't know what's happening. I'm like, stop it. And it's not the first time she's eaten something that's come out of my body. Let's put it that way. I've talked about that in another episode, and I'm very sorry for that. Okay, anyway, yesterday was arguably the worst. No, I always say, oh my god, it's the worst day of my life. Like, it was probably one of the worst hangovers I've ever had. Except I did have one where I was in Hungary, in Budapest, and that was pretty bad, but I would say this one was worse because I was in so much pain. And that's why I was like, shit, do I need to go to the hospital? And I work in the hospital, so I was like, oh, I don't want to, they all know that I went out last night, and I don't want to be like, I just can't handle my drink, and now I'm throwing up. So yesterday I threw up once, except the garden time, that was another time. I threw up once, it came on, I ran up to the toilet, and I just threw up like Gaviscon, and I threw up, it was so fucking acidic, my stomach acid, it like burnt, that's why my throat hurt so much, I think, because it like burnt a hole. Oh, it's really irritated my throat, really hurts. Anyway, so I do think the semaglutide has made the hangover worse, because my stomach is not okay. And I've had some fine hangovers before. In fact, I've not even been that hungover before. But let's talk about what contributes to a hangover. We've told the story. I'm sorry, that was like the shittest storytelling ever, but I'm not in a place where I feel okay. I think one of the biggest things, I'm getting really hot. Oh, now I'm cold. I can't make my mind up. Let's put my dressing gown off. I'm like sweating, but I'm cold now, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. I think the reason why your hangovers get worse as you get older is because, oh Christ, I'm sorry, is because you end up, your liver doesn't work as well. I think this is what happens. Anyway, your liver breaks down alcohol into a byproduct which is called acetaldehyde. And it basically, that's what the toxic effects of alcohol are caused by. Now, if your liver doesn't work as well, now I'm not saying your liver's not working, it is, but it's just like a bit slower than it was. If your liver doesn't work as well, then alcohol just takes a longer time to break down, so you get this like toxic effect for longer. Alcohol also, so I forgot to finish off the acetaldehyde discussion. It basically, it inflames your body. So in particular, your stomach. Now that is one of the main reasons you get nausea, I would say. It's from stomach irritation. Now what I should have done was taken an omeprazole before I went out. You can get omeprazole over the counter. You can get esomeprazole actually if you live in the UK. It is a bit expensive, but I actually have it from my GP. I take it whenever because I've got this new medication. It really gives me reflux, so I have to have something on hand. Thankfully they gave me some, because usually they're like, you need to go over the counter, but I'm like, look, I wouldn't be asking for it if I didn't need it, okay? And also they're like £1 or £2 a tablet if you buy them over the counter, and it's like, I can't afford that. So yeah, so I had really, really, really bad reflux yesterday. I felt like, okay, the reason why I was going to call the ambulance is because I thought I was having pancreatitis. I thought I had pancreatitis. Usually with pancreatitis, so your pancreas sits right behind your stomach, right? You usually get back pain, but you can get upper abdominal pain as well. Right here, right below your sternum. And it was like burning. I was like, oh, and that was causing so much nausea. I still feel sick now. I haven't been sick today, and I have managed to eat finally. But it all really contributes to each other. So I think one of the biggest reasons I had the worst hangover was because I am on semaglutide, which means your stomach doesn't empty as quickly, and it's already a little bit inflamed from all the reflux you get, and then you just add on a whole nother level of alcohol intoxication, and then you're dying. So my main issue was that Gaviscon wasn't working. I had an omeprazole. I think I threw it up, and I was like, I can't keep anything down. Like every time I was trying to like drink little sips of water, and every time I didn't throw up. I only threw up twice in total. But like I was like, what happens if I just can't keep any of these tablets down? I know what I need to heal me, but I can't keep them down. So like I need like a fucking IV fluid drip or something. And I was like, at that point, I was like, oh my God, why has nobody started this as a business? I would start this as a business if I knew how. Like, I think people would pay to get at home hangover treatment, fluids because of nausea. Omeprazole is a good healer. I actually heard this from an anaesthetist, right? He said one of the cures to a hangover is to have some omeprazole, because the main reason you feel sick is, there are other reasons and we'll talk about those, but it's because of stomach irritation, and it basically makes you feel really unwell, which means that you really struggle to drink, so you're more dehydrated, and the dehydration leads to that horrible like dizzy feeling, but also that is an effect of, if you wake up and the room is spinning, you're still drunk basically, because the acetaldehyde is what makes you like feel like the room's moving or you're moving. So another issue that you can get with hangovers is this like alcohol withdrawal, but like it is withdrawal, I suppose. So what ends up happening is apparently your brain adjusts to having alcohol in it. So when the alcohol's gone, it basically, you feel really fucking anxious. So I was watching Friends yesterday, like literally the most unanxiety provoking show in the world, and I was feeling anxious. The plot line was too much for me. I was like, I literally can't handle it. It was the one where Emma's born and Monica and Chandler are like trying to have a baby. I just couldn't handle it. It was giving me such bad anxiety, so I had to watch something else. The other thing is, I can't sleep when I'm hungover. Like, me and Tom, we had like a little nap together in the front room. It didn't go well. He slept. I was just like, my eyes are shut and I feel really shit, and then my pain, ow, and I feel really sick and I feel really anxious and life is not good. So I just kind of laid there drifting in and out of a stupor. It was horrible. And So yeah, anxiety is a thing, beer fear is a thing. I'm just explaining like what causes all the hangover symptoms, and then we'll get on to how to cure them. People always think that they sleep better with alcohol. Like, you don't. I don't anyway. What ends up happening is you go to sleep really quickly when you're hungover, when you're drunk, and then I just can't. I wake up at like 8 and I'm like, well, that's it then. 4 hours sleep will do me. And when I don't have enough sleep, I feel horrendous. Like, I get anxiety from not having enough sleep. It's a bad time. Oh, this is difficult today. I mean, I'm kind of enjoying that I've just left myself looking like shit, because it means that you understand how I feel. I still feel very sick, but not to the point of I feel like I'm going to throw up. Yesterday I had a saucepan next to the sofa. I didn't move off the sofa the whole day. I went to the toilet to throw up. I went to the toilet to go for a wee and a poo. And I went to let the dogs out, and that was it. That was it. Literally, that's it. That's all I did. Oh, I also think, so dehydration, this is probably one of the biggest things that people think of when they're hungover. This is one that used to really plague me when I was younger, but like now, nausea is probably the biggest one, and anxiety. Because when I was younger, I used to just be able to drink like down pints of water and it not be a problem. Now my stomach's like, nah, you're not doing that. You're not trying to heal yourself. Get out. Blech! So dehydration is probably one of the things that I really struggled with yesterday. I peed probably like twice, maybe 3 times, and it was not a lot. And I don't think I'm okay still. Basically, what happens is alcohol suppresses a hormone called vasopressin, and basically your kidneys then release loads of fluid. So you end up diuresing, which is like releasing loads of fluid. And as a result, you get really thirsty, you get a headache, you get tired, you feel like shit, you feel dizzy, you do not feel good. And you can feel really thirsty as well, but I didn't, I just felt really sick. I felt like, okay, this is really dramatic, but yesterday I was honestly like, if I had cancer and I was on chemotherapy, this is what it would feel like. Like, genuinely, I was like, but also when people have cancer and they're having chemo, firstly, you're getting anti-sickness medications. Secondly, people actually like, they're not like, it's self-inflicted, so I don't give a shit about you. They're like, you've got cancer and we're giving you this horrible medication that makes you feel like shit, so we'll be nice to you. Whereas I was just like, I did this to myself. It's all my fault and I have no self-control. So there's the comparison there. I just compared myself to someone with cancer. I'm sorry. I know it's not the same thing, but that is like, I feel like if I had chemo, I would be really sick. I'm quite a sicky person, like a vomity person. I get really bad motion sickness, really bad travel sickness, same thing. I was when I was at work the other day, the room in A&E has loads of like curtains, and 3 of the walls were made up of curtains, and the place where I work is like kind of right next to the outside door, and there was loads of wind coming through, and I was examining a patient and all the curtains started moving, and I got really bad motion sickness, and I had to say to the patient, I'm really sorry, I just need a second, because to me the room is moving. And that is like, I don't even have to be on something that is moving. Boats, don't get me started. I almost joined the Navy, like, good luck. And oh, I'm sorry, I'm so gross. Cars, I've thrown up more times than I'd like to admit. Boats, no. What else? Anyway, motion sickness is a real problem. My mum was like, oh, I always thought you'd grow out of it. I did not. Especially if I'm hungover, I will throw up. Like, all the times that I've thrown up from motion sickness, I have usually been hungover. Oh God, I'm just reminiscing on them. They're bad. And yeah, it's probably like 5 to 10 times that I've had to be like, I need to get out of the car, and I've like thrown up on the side of the road. Anywho, let's get into talking about how to sort out your problems. Pain. My biggest saviour yesterday was 100% codeine. Do you know why? And codeine is addictive. I don't want people to think, wow, codeine solves all my problems. But yesterday it did. And I only use it in severe circumstances. You can get codeine over the counter as well, but not in high doses. But I'm quite opioid naive, so I take like one codeine and I'm out. So anyway, codeine helped me sleep, helped my anxiety, not healed it. It also got rid of my abdominal pain, which was like burning fireball in my stomach. It also, that's kind of it really. It helped my pain and it helped my sleeping. And those were the two things, was like my stomach was hurting so much so I couldn't drink anything. So that was exacerbating everything. And I was like, oh God, that just nearly made me throw up then. Oh, I haven't even got a sick bowl here. I'd have to throw up in like a plant pot or something. So I had codeine, and honestly, I then had a nap and I felt so much better. I didn't feel perfect, but I felt better. Codeine can make you nauseated though, so I'm kind of glad that it doesn't have that effect for me, but that sorted me out. Then when I slept, I felt so much better. I didn't feel anxious anymore, or less anxious. I still had like pangs of anxiety, and then it would like go away, and then pang and go away, and then pang and go away. And I didn't go back to watching Friends because the anxiety still hasn't gone. Still here. Day 2, still here. But sleep is like one of the best things. The thing is, when I was in like loads of pain, I was like, I just want to sleep it off. I don't want to be awake right now, but I can't sleep because I'm in pain, and I can't sleep because I'm hungover and nothing is going well. So when the codeine came in, I was like, yes, please. That also helped with my headache as well. I had a very mild headache. The headache actually got worse in the evening, right before I went to bed, so I took some more cocodamol. Amazing. I actually read somewhere that was like, don't take paracetamol, which is also known as that's the American term, but I actually don't know how to say it. Wait there. Oh my god. Oh, acetaminophen. It says it can cause liver damage, so maybe don't have it after you've had a drink. I only took 2, like the normal amount. Why is, like, I wouldn't be worried about going into liver failure from taking 1 gram of paracetamol. Like, anyway, I'm so gross. Sickness and nausea. That's the biggest thing, isn't it? Ginger tea. Why didn't I even think about having this today? I literally have ginger and I have ginger tea at home. I was like, what's going on? I took some omeprazole. Now, the first one I think I threw up, so I took a second one. You can have 40 milligrams in one day, so I was like, I'm keen. So I took those, and I don't know if the first one got absorbed or not. There was nothing in my stomach, so it must have flown through, but who knows, because the toilet looked like a mess. And that helped along with the codeine. I would say some people take ibuprofen and aspirin after a hangover. If you have really bad reflux, don't take it. It makes your stomach, it irritates your stomach more. Ooh, today is not going well. And I think it can give you worsening reflux. Fluids, little and often. Just have a little sippy like this. And then that's it. I was taking like 1 mouthful at a time. I was just letting it sit there, absorb, and then another sip like half an hour later. It wasn't enough, but I was like, it's better than trying to down a whole pint of water and then just throwing it up. I don't like throwing up. It's painful, it's unpleasant, and I have weed myself whilst throwing up before. So yeah. Yesterday it was not possible for me to do this, but I would say it doesn't cure a hangover, but I think it helps. Showering, I couldn't shower. I was like, I can't move. I was literally like a peritonitic human. Like, peritonism is where your abdomen is like severely inflamed, like you've burst your appendix, and moving is not gonna happen. So I was like, God, I'm like a peritonitic person. And I was like, I can't move. I can't go for a walk. No fucking way. And it was raining. No. So I couldn't go for a walk outside, but that would have been lovely. I tell you what I did do though, I stood at the door whilst I let the dogs out, and I just, that was good. That was great. And I listened to the rain hitting the roof, and it was truly wonderful. Showering does help. I would say it like just makes you feel fresher. I don't think it like helps in any other way. Apparently it can help blood flow, whatever, but I was just like, I didn't shower. Sorry. I know, I'm disgusting. I threw up and then I didn't shower. and I didn't even take my makeup off, I don't think. I did yesterday, by the way, but like the night of, I didn't take it off. That's how drunk I was, when that's the case. I can't think today, honestly. So if possible, try and shower. I've actually thrown up in the shower before when I was hungover in Budapest. I brushed my teeth in the shower and I threw up. That was fun. And now I want to cover some myths. What to avoid now. Ultimately, there's no cure for a hangover, but you can always make it better. So what should you avoid? Yesterday, I had a Chinese. I'm sorry. I know. I'm supposed to be losing weight, but I needed something, and Chinese was the one. I had a Chinese meal in like years. Like I don't eat Chinese. So I was like really feeling it. I just wanted some egg fried rice, to be quite honest. I was like, I would be happy with just a whole plate of egg fried rice. So I got egg fried rice and it was amazing. Who knew Chinese food could be so good? We actually got like a really good Chinese food. It wasn't like, greasy, like rubbery chicken. It was like beautiful, like 4.5, it was either 4.5 or 4.7 on delivery. Like it was good, excellent. That was what it was rated. It was so good. Would buy again. And it was like Indo-Chinese. So it had naans. I got a plain naan. That was amazing. And I also got a little bit of like just chicken tikka. I was just like, anyway, it was so good. And I hadn't eaten all day. Nothing. Nada. Nothing. I couldn't, because the thought of eating made me feel like I was going to throw up. And then I actually did throw up. So I was like, I can't put anything in my stomach. The only thing I could think of eating was like plain rice. And I didn't eat that. But basically, once the codeine had like healed, and once the codeine and the omeprazole had finally absorbed into my system and settled down my stomach, like that was the biggest problem for me. So it does say I would say just you should avoid fatty foods, because it can actually inflame your stomach, and it can lead to reflux, because fatty foods loosen the esophagus sphincter. But the thing is, I was just feeling it, and I was like, no, I need it. And by that point I was feeling a bit better. So I did get it. And it wasn't like I said, it wasn't like super, like the chicken tikka was like grilled. It wasn't like fried or anything. The egg fried rice wasn't super greasy. And what else did I get? So like it was, technically it was fatty food, but I was like, whatever. I think it makes me feel better. Everybody says like have carbs. That's what everything online said. But I was like, rice is carbs. Anyway, avoid acidic foods. Orange juice would not have been my friend yesterday. What else? Coffee is quite acidic and also can make you dehydrated as well. And also make you kind of anxious. So I did not have a coffee yesterday. In fact, I was actively avoiding it because I was like, I want to sleep. And there are some common myths that I wanted to cover about hangovers. I've already kind of mentioned this one. Drinking coffee or taking a shower can prevent or cure a hangover. No. It doesn't, nothing, the only way to actually cure or prevent a hangover is either not to drink, or to drink in moderation, or to reduce the symptoms. You can't cure it. The only way to really cure it is time, which is now 3 days for me. Some people say I was wine drunk. I don't think the type of alcohol you drink makes a difference. It's the alcohol content, right? The percentage obviously matters, but if you have 40% alcohol, you're just going to drink less of it than if you had wine. Now, wine is quite acidic, so I would say it would irritate your stomach, right? But it... So it might worsen the nausea. It might also make, when you vomit it back up, not very fun. But I don't buy it personally. And mixing drinks, I also don't buy. I think, I don't know that it actually matters. Alcohol's alcohol. Maybe the ingredients mix, but if you had Baileys and then some kind of orange juice cocktail, Sex on the Beach, that's gonna curdle. That's not gonna be a good time. So maybe don't do that. But I can't see, personally, I don't think it's true. Oh, people always say to me, I'm not an alcoholic because I don't drink spirits. And I'm like, hun, that is not the definition of alcoholism. Like, I see patients and they're like, yeah, I drink every day, but I don't drink spirits. Like, no, I'm not that bad. And you're like, you realise that alcohol is just alcohol. It doesn't make you an alcoholic if you drink spirits, and it doesn't not make you an alcoholic if you don't drink spirits. Do you get what I mean? Hair of the dog. I considered hair of the dog yesterday, and I was like, no, because I know it's just going to prolong the pain. And also I could not stomach anything, and the idea of drinking made me really not have a good time in my head. So I was like, no, that's not happening. Some people have like a Bloody Mary. I don't know why. Tomato juice. What the fuck is that about? Vodka? Absolutely not. Like, what's going on? And I was kind of confused yesterday because when I tried to go to sleep at night, I started seeing things. And I was like, was I on drugs? I'm honestly like confused because I don't remember taking any drugs. Obviously alcohol is a drug. But I started like, I don't want to call it hallucinating, because when I shut my eyes, I just started to feel like I was in a party again. And I was like, what is happening? And I kept having to open my eyes because it was really alarming. So I don't know what happened there. That was just a little plot twist in the story. How to drink in moderation. Clearly, I'm the best person to listen to. I do think for sure the semaglutide made the symptoms worse, like stomach burning, etc. But drinking in moderation, I would say alternating your drinks is a really good idea, or just remembering to drink water, because it dilutes it down and it also prevents you easily. But also just stopping at a reasonable time. Also, I was getting really sick of waiting at the bar, so I was like, I'm just going to order like 2 or 3 drinks at once. That was a bad idea. Have some patience, Dawn. But I also I didn't want to keep waiting at the bar. So if bar people could just like hire more staff so that Dawn doesn't have this problem, that'd be really great. But I get that that's probably not going to happen. I was also straw peeling VKs, maybe WKDs, I can't remember. Don't do that. That definitely played a part. Straws are a no-go. I think, why are you drinking in moderation? Not in moderation. I think some of it like is working on yourself and thinking, well, why can I not handle, like, is it a confidence thing? Sometimes it is. I also think preparing, eating before you go out, always recommended. Taking omeprazole, recommended. Or an esomeprazole, same thing, pretty much. Or just stopping drinking at a certain time. A tactical chunder. Now, I did that when I was younger, but that's because I was problematic. But I don't know if my chunder was tactical. Basically, a tactical chunder is where you throw up on purpose because you know you've drunk too much, and it will release some of the alcohol from your body. I don't know. I don't think it was tactical. I think it was very much not tactical, but I managed to keep it in until we got into the garden. The reason why I haven't in the garden, I think, number 1, I was in the garden. Number 2, I had somebody staying over and I didn't want them to hear me throwing up in the toilet. So there we go. Anyway, I feel like this is one of those episodes where my head is not working. But there we go. You've suffered through to the end like me. Oh, I think I should go and shower and sort my life out. Also, another thing is, just a final note, I very much struggled to take my regular medication yesterday, like my antidepressants. I did take them in the end, but I didn't have my semaglutide. I usually have it on Wednesdays, and it was Wednesday yesterday, and I was like, I can't, because I don't want to make this worse. So I had it today, which is fine, you can leave it a day. But I really wanted to get in my medication, so I managed that eventually. Have your regular medications, they are important, but make sure your stomach will hold them first. Anyway guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm sorry, I just wanted to be authentic, you know? Today is authentic. I feel like shit, I look like shit, and I am shit. So, thanks. Anyway, bye. I'm gonna go throw up again. No, I'm not, but I feel like I might. Bye.